You're listening to OCPD and Me, a podcast about my life with obsessive compulsive personality disorder and everything that goes with it. Welcome back to OCPD and Me. This is an opportunity to hear my stories and experiences surrounding OCPD. And just to let you know, lunch has passed, and I've already gone down several rabbit holes. I have goals for this podcast. First goal would to be as raw as possible. Share my mistakes, show my mistakes, challenges, anxiety. So that's goal number one. Goal number two, challenge myself in the world view of OCPD, how it affects me, ways to manage it. And goal number three, to be courageous and come out and share and hopefully come out better on the other side. So those are my goals. As these podcasts develop over time, the information will develop over time. I tell you, it's already past lunch, and the goal for today was just to prepare the closet area, aka the studio, and maybe prep some articles to provide my feedback on. So I got as far as prepping the article for feedback and organizing the studio. But time definitely got away from me as I was familiarizing myself with the podcasting platform and all the long-term advantages that are associated with podcasts. So, neither here nor there. It's 1:20 in the afternoon. Still haven't eaten. I'm starving. My body told me it was lunchtime a long time ago. So, for now, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go have some lunch, organize myself for my afternoon, and I'll be back. Thanks for joining me. This is going to be fun. Okay, so I'm back. Had a little lunch, a little salad, some leftover chicken wings, and now my hunger is sufficed. So welcome back to OCPD and Me. Again, just to touch on the goals and for the purpose of this podcast is to share my experiences, my stories surrounding my OCPD, and hopefully provide some entertainment or support or just some unsolicited knowledge to anybody who's interested. So the first goal is to be as raw as possible, to excuse me, keep a script to minimal, if at all. Just going to be as real as possible. The number two goal is to challenge my OCPD worldview, what that looks like for me, how I deal with it, how I don't deal with it, the consequences, right, wrong, and or indifferent for those choices that come up. And number 3 goal for this podcast would be to be as courageous as possible, brave, again, to challenge myself and then come out stronger, hopefully on the other side, and able to cope with my symptoms and how they would affect my relationships and just overall well-being in life. So, with that being said, previously mentioned wanting to just peruse an article and give some feedback, thoughts, opinions. So this is article was provided by psychologytoday.com. They have a blog, and this was in their blog. Personality was the subtitle. Diagnosing Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder, aka OCPD. So basically what I did is I just went through and highlighted sections of the article. I'm not going to read the whole article. If you're interested, you can go to psychologytoday.com and peruse their blog and look up OCPD for the full article. But I just highlighted sections that stood out and figured I'd just comment on those. So, without any further ado, OCPD type of personality is very systematic, carefully planning down to the smallest detail, and then often getting lost in the details and forget their overall purpose. So that kind of goes back to the beginning here for today, where, again, the overall purpose of the day, as far as this podcast was concerned, was to prepare the studio and to find an article to share. And I had already planned, I don't know, a couple days ago, what I intended to do for this closet space. And honestly, even further back before that, I planned to do that before I decided to make it the studio. Was to, bring in this steamer trunk that I'm, sitting on, and I had some foam cushions that I had purchased to upgrade some furniture, and so the plan was to bring all that in to this space and develop a little sitting area for me and my friends, all my fun-loving stuffed animals here that I collected over the years. And so that was the original goal way back when. Fast forward till this past week, when I finally pulled the trigger and pulled up enough courage to start this adventure and make this the studio. So after taking care of, I had a video appointment with a doctor this morning, running the munchkin to school, starting laundry, switching the loads out. I got distracted doing a couple other things. I don't remember exactly what at this point in time. And then finally getting down to prepared this area for the studio. When I went to go sit down and do the article, though, I had already had maybe 10 plus minus by 1, 2, 3 tabs open on my computer with research and information to assist me in developing the podcast. And in my excitement to do that, go through the tabs and look at the articles I had already pulled, and then doing research and new articles, and then researching the medical terminology associated with OCPD. So down that rabbit hole, which led me into the other rabbit hole of updating the Facebook page and the group associated with this podcast, and which led me down another rabbit hole that led me to Amazon, of all places. And I don't know, if you're like me and you get on Amazon, all kinds of things can happen. Oh, that was the other thing. So, prepping some returns on Amazon so that they can go back was, earlier happening this morning. And then prep some stuff for my niece that I'm going to send to her. So, yeah, it's difficult, but not. So, you have a game plan. I know I'm going to do these things today. I'm going to set up the studio. I'm going to pull an article. I'm going to prep this stuff. But it's so easy to inadvertently and unconsciously jump from one task to the other, or to get so stuck on one task because it's not meeting a certain personal criteria, is not being met, either subconsciously or not. And then next thing you know, it's past lunch, you're starving, and you probably could have gotten a little bit more done than you actually did, but you didn't. So I didn't have a paper list this morning. I just had a mental list this morning. So planning everything down to the smallest detail. Had I written stuff down on a piece of paper, I probably would have been a little bit more organized this morning. However, the need to make sure that the tasks were completed to, again, that certain personal, subconscious, or conscious criteria just led me astray from the ideal goal at hand. Again, forgetting about the overall purpose. So going back to this article, constantly scheduling task, events, etc., organizing their environment. Individuals with OCPD are very rule-bound and drawn to routine. Very true for me. Very, very true for me. As I was eating lunch and trying to calm my anxiety and reflect on where I went astray, I realized that I didn't start my morning routine as I would have normally have. So realized I, didn't take my vitamins this morning. Realized that, things I would have normally done for my business-related stuff never even got touched. I just jumped in and started doing laundry, and like I said, the doctor's appointment, and the only thing that was normal was taking Munchkin to school and feeding the lovely animals. But everything else was out of my norm routine, which just helps me feed into that vicious cycle of spiraling into the abyss when it comes down to doing what I need to do. One of the things that I did catch myself on was I'm sitting here in the office and I was debating. It's like, okay, so again, knowing the plan for the studio, what it's going to look like, literally takes me less than 15 minutes to bring in the materials needed to prep the area and set it up. And I'm sitting here catching myself in this mental debate as of when to actually do it. Should I do it now, or should I do it this afternoon, or should I do something else first? Or, well, what if I did this? And then imagining all the other things I can add to this space, and just, again, going down this mental rabbit hole, and like, oh, I should totally print off the OCPD me logo and have it blown up and make like a little poster and hang some lights, and like just going all over the place mentally, and realizing, no, you need to slow down. You need to focus on the task at hand. If you're going to do it, get up and go do it. Get it done, and then it's done. Then you're not worrying about it. You're not fretting over it. You're not having these mental debates about it. And this is one of the things I've really worked hard on over the years. It's taken me a long time to get to this point. And it's going to take me a very much long time to get to the next stage. But I'm happy to be at this stage here, to be able to call myself out and say, hey, focus. Get up and just do it. Don't debate it. Don't question it. Just do it. And then it's done. It eases the anxiety. If I want to come back to it, to add to it, to build upon it, I can. It's okay. I don't need to figure out every single detail in that moment. I can spread it out. I can do it later. Or I can choose not to, which is even like, oh my God, I can make that choice to choose not to do something, and it's okay. Mind blown. Completely mind blown. Especially if you deal with this, I think you understand that. It's whoa. Anyhow, rigid in their experiences and character. Yeah, that one we're going to save for another day. But oh my goodness. That's definitely one for another day. Experience distress or having difficulty completing tasks because of their need to prepare, for example, cleaning or organizing before starting the task. I think that's pretty relevant from this, what I've kind of shared this morning already. Like, I'm nowhere near. My anxiety level is going up. I have this difficulty in doing something that's going to take me less than 15 minutes to do. Less than 15 minutes to go to the garage, dust off the steamer trunk, which really didn't even need to be dusted off because I had already cleaned it off like 2 weeks ago. But give it a quick dust off, bring it in. Go get the cushions. Put them in their protective gear, put them on. Replace my stuffed animals here, and voila, literally, it's done. But I was having such a hard time just managing that with this mental game that I was in. And it happens in so many different areas of my life, whether it's with relationships, tasks for employers, assignments when I was in school, going to the grocery store. It affects so many areas, and it's just so powerful, and not powerful in a good way. It's powerful in the way that, like, it's going to take a hold of you, and you have no way, no say of getting around it. You are being hijacked and kidnapped by your disorder. And more times than not, you don't even know you have the disorder. You might just have somebody, oh, you're an A personality, A-type personality, or you're very rigid, or you're just a beep, kind of keeping it a little kid friendly here. I don't know. But just to be able to stay on task and to prepare something without having to overthink everything, or just be okay with not overthinking every single step and just being okay with the outcome, is huge. Huge. And as I go through and share the experiences and the different stories and all my trials and tribulations, you'll see the difficulty that's involved. You'll see the mental and emotional turmoil that is associated. And we all have stuff. Like, I'm not trying to dismiss or downgrade anything anybody else has, but we all have stuff. And we all find ways to manage our stuff. So, difficulty completing those tasks because of their need to prepare, cleaning, organizing. Showing that impairment in function. Okay? So, impairment in function. What's wrong in that sense of functioning? Something in that line of getting the task done is not meeting the grade. From having the mental debate of when to do a less than 15-minute task is part of that impairment. It's keeping me from doing what I need to do, which is just to get up, get what I need to get, and boom, voila, create the space. And it happens in so many different areas. So, rarely am I late or do I miss any deadlines because of spending time prepping something. But I do run close to the wire. Like, it's like minutes. And, I've had those experiences where, like, oh, okay, this project's supposed to be due by this time. It will be done. It will be done well. It will be done with enormous amount of stress and anxiety and frustration and tears and anger and everything else you can think of throwing in there in that kitchen sink. But it will be done. Because I do strive hard to being a person of my words. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. It may not always happen in a certain time frame if there wasn't a designated time frame set for this, 2 o'clock on Tuesday. But it's going to get done. Which just leads to another rabbit hole. So, I think for right now, for today, I'm just going to leave this right here. I'm just going to leave this little section, this little tidbit right here. And save this other part of the article for next time. Because honestly, I can get in here and be on a tangent, and then I would be late for my next task in my day. So, appreciate you listening. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day and just including me in your busy day. And hope we can learn together. I hope this helps somebody. I hope this makes a difference somehow. So thank you. Appreciate you. I look forward to providing you with the next podcast for OCPD and me. Thank you for joining me today on OCPD and me. Please join me over on Facebook for more content and discussion regarding OCPD, treatment options, and support. Until next time.